Are you ready for it?
So let's talk about this con artist of a hustler with the witch vibes and the casting the spell on you, whatever she's doing there. Let's talk about this lady and her lies and her hustle and con artist game that she's playing. And, you know, you can use her if you want to, but she's on probably number 2 on the list, but right up there with Judge Anthony and his $750 an hour. This lady's $250 an hour. She went through her own divorce. I read her story once. I don't feel like reading it again, but her stuff popped up or came across me again, and so I'm going to tell you guys stuff to think about before you get conned by her and then you regret it later. So she's $250 an hour. You guys get mad at my $80 an hour, and I know a million times more than what this lady says. Now, she has this support coach and coping and navigating the court system, but she also does legal advice on how to document stuff to use it in court, which is legal advice. And then on her page it says this is not legal advice, because she's paranoid about the bar association coming down on her or hunting her down or getting charged with unauthorized practice of law. Now think about this. Let's start with this. The bare minimum amount of legal advice can be something as simple as, if you go to the courthouse and then you walk up to a clerk and you say, hey, where's the mail room for the judges? I need to file working copies or bench copies for the judge for my hearing. And they say, oh, it's right down there. You just drop it off and you can stamp it and get your copy. They just gave you legal advice. You need help and answers on how to file something to move forward with a motion hearing in your court case. They advised you where to go. You went there. Now that may sound simple, but that's giving you advice. The family court facilitators, they say, we can't give you legal advice. We just give you the paperwork and you fill it out. Well, if you go to the family court facilitator, and this has happened a couple times because I've had different guys who lost by default and they want to go to the facilitator and say, how do I file a motion to vacate the default? And I'm going to get to Angela in a second. I want to lay the foundation here to expose what a evil-looking witch of a hustler and a con that she is. So, if you go to the facilitator and you say, I need to do a motion to vacate and undo this order. I lost by default. I didn't show up. I never got served, whatever. And the facilitator says, you can't undo this by default. You got to do a modification. Here's the packet to modify. Here, I can't help you fill it out, but here it is. You had 2 options. You can do a modification, which says this is a legitimate order. I just want to modify it based on new facts since the order was in place. Or you can go back and vacate it and wipe it out and start from scratch and have a clean slate and undo it like it never happened. And a facilitator says, no, you have to go down and do a modification. They are taking you, there's a 2 opposite, like a fork in the road. That's 2 opposite ways to go. They're giving you legal advice by sliding the packet to you, saying, this is the packet you need. And this Angela from Family Court Corner is giving you way more detailed stuff. She's giving you an app, and she's giving you advice, and she does one-on-one consults for $250 an hour. In the next video, that's the more recent one after this, I'm going to give you somebody who's a support advocate who has been through 100 times the hell that Angela could have possibly went through and didn't have $100,000 like Angela did to win or get back get equality back or whatever. I don't even know where she thought she got bamboozled. You know, she probably got gaslit. There was fighting and stuff. She probably had the typical normal drama. I'm going to give you an advocate who's been through worse hell than 99% of you out there. So she's an advocate. She was an alienated mother, and she's a genius when it comes to writing up some stuff. She's extremely good. She's, you know, she had reached out to me a couple of years ago, and we've stayed in touch. And she's a legit real one who's, I think she's charging less than 25% of what Angela would ever charge. And she's doing support, and she can give info and advice, and especially, you know, advice in coping with, not legal advice, but advice coping with the system. And she has experience writing her own briefs and doing better than she's written briefs for attorneys that she's had and done the work for them. Anyway, for way cheaper, you can have somebody that has way more experience. So let's get back to Angela. This is a lady who left the business world. Now think about this very carefully. This lady was a businesswoman, and I can't remember what she was doing before, but I think she was a savvy businesswoman and made good money. She went through her divorce. She says she was gaslit and went through drama and suffered from a narcissistic abuse or whatever. If you guys call her, you should ask her how bad it got. Did she get unsupervised visitation? Was she falsely accused of being a child molester or a child abuser or mentally ill? Did she have to go through a psychosexual evaluation? I guarantee it's not as bad as any of those things. And she hasn't gone. And everybody that goes through family court suffers some kind of trauma or shock or PTSD or narcissistic abuse or gaslighting. This lady probably went through the average amount of that. And she's 4, 5, 6 times more expensive than the advocate I'm going to tell you guys to go to. The advocate I'm going to tell you guys to go to is 10 times smarter than this chick, and who's $250 an hour. And you guys get mad at my $80 an hour, and I'm helping people get full custody without an attorney, and going from supervised visitation to 50-50. Or some people watch my videos and they never even get a consult. So they go and get custody or 50-50 for free. Or some people might buy one of my packets for $45 and write a demand letter to their attorney and get $6,000 back, like one of the testimonials I got. I'm the one who should be charging $250 an hour, but here's what she did. She probably looked at, oh my God, these attorneys are charging $400 or $500 an hour. I'll charge $250 an hour, and it'll look like a steal. And here's James over here helping people win and do better without an attorney. This chick is going off of her experience in the court, spending $100,000 on her own case. Do you have $100,000? Does the average person in America going through a divorce, custody battle, have $100,000 to spend on an attorney? I didn't get an attorney at first because I didn't even have the $5,000 for the first retainer. And that was Divorce Lawyers for Men, who said I'll get every other weekend. And I went to court by myself and got 5 days a week against the mother's attorney with 17 years experience. And I'm not up here bragging and comparing me to Angela as much as I am appalled, because I'm sitting here giving you guys free information that she wouldn't even give you. But if she did, it'd be $250 an hour. And I'm $80 an hour to get the insightful, deep information that helps people fight off stuff if they grow the balls to fight. Now, I'm not going to knock Angela's support for how to cope with the system. I don't even know what that entails. It might be great therapy for you. But I'm telling you, this other lady I'm going to refer you guys to, she's been through 10 times worse to hell and come through it. And a lot of you guys have been suicidal. She's still here. I guarantee Angela has not been through half the stuff that this other advocate has been through, who's a legit one. And then you just have to, trust me, decide who you guys trust. The $250 an hour hustler, who's right up there with Judge Anthony as far as I'm concerned, or the $80 an hour guy who has a track record and shows you my winning orders. Everything about this Angela lady is a mystery, except let's hold her to the fact that she had to spend $100,000 in court. Since the average person doesn't have $100,000, how can Angela relate to you? Or how could you relate to her? See, this stuff is so insane. People should see it for what it is. But Angela has a nice website. She has a nice app. Here I am, just in some sweats, sitting in the living room, giving you information that might save you thousands of dollars. Well, I'm giving you other information that'll help you get your kids back, most likely, or even get custody. And what this chick saw is attorneys charging $400 to $500 an hour. Oh, this is going to be a steal. And it's still $250 an hour. If she has 4 appointments a day, that's $1,000 a day. If she works on Saturday, that's $6,000 a week, $12,000, $24,000 a month. She's making a few $100,000 off of you and doing seminars and writing books and all this other stuff. So she left the business world to do this dysfunctional crap. Why? Because she's like, oh my God, I could totally seize this, and there's a great need out there. Let me hustle people so I can get rich. I guarantee that's the most likelihood. Why do you think Judge Anthony charges $750 an hour? Because he can. Because everybody's so desperate. Anyway, make up your mind.